Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Rebellion's Bloom. This is the Penny Bloom podcast, and this is the conclusion of our coverage of The Bad Batch. Season 3 finale, the series finale. The cavalry has arrived. I am Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up? And think it's a pleasure? Yes, it is. No,
It
it
is.
very much
It
is
is.
a pleasure to be here. Just a lot of mixed emotions, a
Oh,
lot
it
of
feels
tears, a lot of
it's so bittersweet to say goodbye to a
ah
show like this, man. As of recording, it's 8 a.m. Wednesday morning.
fresh.
We're fresh. We are fresh. It's an open wound at present. The
hmm
gaping hole that the Bad Batch has left in my heart. I tweeted this a couple days ago. If you're listening on Friday, we've been covering the Bad Batch since day one, since episode 1. First episode premiered. Pretty sure we talked about it that night, if not the next day. Just one of those very, very special ones that this is the first show that during its run, our podcast has covered beginning to end. So it holds a very special place in my heart. This is episode 545. The Bad Batch series premiere was episode 91. So,
Whew, you could say we ramped up production a little
yes,
bit.
that's 3 years. That's 3 years, by the way. This was 2021,
Wow.
so
I guess, yeah.
21 to 22, 22, 23, 23, 24,
Oh
3 years.
my
Yeah.
God. It is.
Um,
We spent some time. This is this is our kid too, a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm going off
yeah.
the ending there, the epilogue.
Yeah, this is
You'll
our
always
kid.
be our kid. No matter
Yeah.
what. And
So yeah, important to note for those listening, we will be spoiling the shit out of the season 3 finale. There's no reason for you to be here if you haven't watched it. I would advise you do. If you haven't watched The Bad Batch and you're engaging with us, just watch it, man. It was such a special show, and it's like the credits roll at the end, and I'm just, there's like it's just an overwhelming sense of completion, an overwhelming sense of happiness, and that bittersweet feeling that a show I've loved for years has concluded.
why did they lead us down the path? Why did the tweets? Why did they do this to us? I was expecting something horrid. It's just bad. I don't know. Every tweet it came, but then I think maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point of the whole show is all this speculating, all this whatever. Doesn't matter.
No.
Just look at what
It's
we
the
got.
heart of the show.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the heart of the
man.
show. Yeah, man. I adored this finale. I thought that, I mean, across the board, Star Wars animation finales. Ooh, is that a good slate of shit right there?
Oh my God. Yeah,
This takes what the finale of season 3 of The Mandalorian was attempting to do and turns it up to fucking 50. It pays off in a massive, massive way, and I think that it did everything I wanted and more. I absolutely adore Omega. I'm so glad that we watch all of them make it out. Thank God Tech was the only loss. That's so sad, but man,
it came close. We came close to losing.
And that
some of
was
the
the
other boys.
beauty of this finale, and that was the beauty of the speculation, and that was the beauty of like their cryptic tweets, is that the stakes were fucking high, man. Like, I started the episode and I was like, one of them's going to die or all of them are going to die, and I'm ready for anything. And the fact that you can do that in a show that is like for children, and I feel like my favorite characters are at risk of death.
I do
Yeah,
have
that's strong.
to remember, like, this is I don't want to say all animated shows are meant for kids, but this is Star Wars, and at the end of the day, all Star Wars is meant for kids.
Star Wars is meant for kids,
So they're not trying to spin the most complex story that they possibly can here. They're giving you the big beats and everything we wanted to happen. Well, all the stuff we theorized, or mainly my crazy crackpot theories that I'm spinning, that it was just for me to have fun and see, what could
Oh,
possibly
it's a great
come,
time.
But as
And
far
frankly,
as,
none of them are put to rest.
yeah,
I mean, there are a couple that are put to rest, but
I think just the fact that everything's destroyed, it doesn't matter. Like it's like everything. The research just needed to be destroyed so that we couldn't get to the. I don't know. Like obviously, we see the next steps. It doesn't work, and I don't know. Transfer all funds to Project Stardust. That was pretty cool. Having just that's a pretty easy explanation. It's just, well, it's lost. We put all our eggs in one basket. We fucked up. We don't have it anymore. And I like it. I'm glad that it is that simple and that it isn't, okay, here is every single detail that we know before blah blah blah. No, we're going to give you the good ending. We're going to give you, Pabu at the end. We're going to make everyone come out alive. And then I mean, I was already happy at the end, and I'm like, okay, I'm expecting some epilogue here. Something's coming. And then that just wrapped it. I mean, put the bow on it perfectly. I mean, it was I guess
we see them grow old, and
Hunter.
Omega's Hunter.
That look of him. Omega, I mean, all of them look good. The only gripe I have with the epilogue is why didn't we see Wrecker and Crosshair too? What that was the only thing. I was kind of waiting to see their older version, as well.
I think they were satisfied with the conclusion of like the last image of all of them being that last image they fade on before the epilogue. And then I think for the epilogue, they wanted to put an emphasis on what the show began as. It really started as Hunter and Omega being the ones with the connection, and I think that concluding it that way, and they're all her dads, and Hunter makes that clear, but, like, Hunter's her fucking dad, that's,
I just wanted to see what old Crosshair and old Wrecker looked like.
I am
the
curious.
actual story implications I'm kind of cool with, but it was just like, man, I wanted to see what an old Wrecker kind of, I don't know, just what they would look like, or Echo, too.
I mean,
Echo seems that he's, that
Echo,
everyone's doing what they're doing. I love that it's just,
Echo's our sequel series.
That's maybe, and Omega. Like I hope. If Omega's just going whatever, that's cool. But like, I feel like that's where they're going. Like they're Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker. I feel like they're done. Like that's what Hunter's like. Yeah, we fought.
And there's
I don't know.
There's also that lingering. That's that lingering. Like if you ever need us, we'll be there. And so I could see them coming back one day, not in any huge capacity, not in a way that's like we're going to lead the fight. No, like I think it'll be. They need some. She needs some help. I need some advice. Do you have information on this place? How about that? Like some shit like that. But. Yeah, no, I mean, like, I'm so excited. Omega officially a Rebel Alliance member, a Rebel pilot at that.
Didn't take Batcher though. I was a little hoping that Batcher would come with, but a little, belongs on Pabu. He'll eat fine. Or she'll eat fine. That's good. But it's. I don't want to get my hopes up and be like, I'm expecting Omega to come back and we're going to see her in this state now.
No, because I mean,
it could just be the end, and that's just what she did, and we don't have to see it to know that she'll do good, and so I don't want to.
And that's the other thing too, is that like I would love if this was it. I would love if we never saw Omega again. I love Omega, one of my favorite Star Wars characters ever. But Star Wars has this incessant need to
fill in the gaps
and bring every story beginning to end, and end as in like we see with the Batch, like end of their life essentially. Like obviously this isn't the end for them, but like, I love the idea of Omega going off to join the Rebel Alliance. I love the idea of Omega being at the Battle of Endor and surviving and fighting through all of that. And I love her being at the Battle of Resistance and ending, Battle of Exegol. And, she survives that too. Nice old, like middle-aged woman. Sure. She's there for all of them. She lives through all of them, and that's good. And that's what I can do given the ending here. And I like being able to have that as much as I would love to see Omega again. And if we do see Omega again, I hope it's in a supporting capacity. And I mean, like, hey, I won't complain if there's an Omega series ahead of us. I doubt
true.
there will be,
Yeah.
but I'm certainly not like never show me her again. No, like if you do, I'm a watch it. I love this character.
Anything they put out, we're gonna watch.
Yeah,
exactly. At the end of the day, but man,
that's kind of how it is.
I'm just. Wrecker was my main. Like, he was in rough shape at the beginning, and I'm like, I kind of accepted his death like early. I'm like, he's gonna have to. And they even mentioned Plan 99 again. Like, don't even think about Plan 99. Like, that's not even an option. We do this together. I don't know how many times I was just like, oh, like just how, like just. So many callbacks, and
it hit me about like 5 minutes in that it was like the finale, and I was like, "Oh God!"
It just makes every moment hit way harder because we're not getting any more, and I think this epilogue pretty clearly shows we're not getting episode 16. Oh, that theory's to rest.
That theory's gone.
I don't think we're getting that special next episode. This is it.
Yeah, no.
I'm fully satisfied with the batch, and
dude, it was a fantastic finale, man, and I just can't emphasize enough how much I feel they did justice to every single member of the batch. Echo got his moment. He's the one to rally the troops. Fucking loved that
rebellion. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted a clone rebellion at Tantus. Free the kids. We were like, kids are, kind of most important. We're like, we would like to see the kids be safe, but we'd like to see every other prisoner released. And I guess the animals, or whatever, I thought that maybe it was up in everything. And the crate, or the I always
Zillow.
Why do I call it a crate dragon? What's a crate dragon? Is that something?
The
in Star
crate
Wars,
dragon's in the Mandalorian season 2 premiere. That's who the Mandalorian and Cobb Vanth have to take on.
Okay, that's right. No, but Zillow
originating from Star Wars: A New Hope when Obi-Wan Kenobi comes on screen for the first time, doing a crate dragon screech.
Whoa, that's a crate dragon screech. Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but no, Zillow Beast. And yeah, I guess was purely a distraction here. No force, and no more complicating that.
Good.
There's a Zillow Beast out on that planet now. Like, all of Tantus is pretty much just. I guess I didn't think about that until now. That there is a Zillow Beast kind of just roaming around.
They are shuttering that base up. They're no longer using it. So it is interesting to think about. I think it's fascinating. This planet's just kind of a null and void, non-factor here on out, unless they decide to, mine it for everything it has and destroy it, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the stuff on Tantus this week. It was impactful. I love Dr. Carr making it out with the kids.
Trying to do what's right. That little conversation with Echo, and then Omega, like with the kids, like, Dr. Carr, you're helping us.
You're helping us.
And like, yes, I am, but we have to move. And just so that was
nice. Dude, when the kids all hug Omega and like Echo gets to watch, like, I really love Echo. The relationship he seemed to form with Omega, where it almost feels like he is the one who's taught her like tactics and strategy. That's almost
exactly what I would do. Yeah. Like, that was another moment.
And then when the Zillow Beast breaks out and Crosshair's like, is that Echo or Omega? And Wrecker and Hunter are both like, that's Omega. Omega did that shit. Yeah. I fucking love it, man. So like, that's the thing. This is why I love Jennifer Corbett. This is why I love the team who created this, is because they know exactly what we want, and it's not fan servicey. Like, it's what is best for the story. And the fact that they can manage that, the fact that they have pulled that off, I mean, this is easily one of my favorite Star Wars shows of all time. Top two.
It's going to be tough to beat.
And the finale
Rebels
cemented it for me. Yeah, the finale cemented it for me. And I will have to rewatch Rebels.
That's what I was going to say. I don't want to comfortably put Bad Batch above Rebels yet. I think it's consistently better. Like, from the jump, they were just, I mean, it was already just good. The animation was there. Like, everything was going from the start. And Rebels, I just need to.
You do have
to
more.
rewatch
You have
that,
more
but-
time with the Rebels crew, and that
Mhm.
is a little bit. It is about the Rebel Alliance. There is a little bit more of a. They're
Bigger
touching different points of the
implications,
galaxy,
yeah.
and they're different shows. They are different shows. They serve different purposes, but at the heart of them is the same. Is the core that you're looking at.
Mhm.
We got the Bad Batch, we got the Ghost Crew, and that's all I really need.
Fighting the
like at
Empire.
the end,
That's
two
all.
of my probably my two favorite groups in a galaxy far, far away. If I'm even talking like any of the groups of three, you could be thinking it's like as a team, what we got to see from them. Yeah, that's that. They're the most fully formed and most interesting and lovely crews I can possibly think of. So like, I loved it. I'm so glad Echo made it out. He was the one coming into it who I was primarily worried about.
Man, we really thought too. That gun he gave her, and we were ready to lose all of them. Like honestly, like Hunter was the only one that I was like, I don't know why I'm not expecting you to die, but like he felt like the only kind of safe one until they got into that like they were all trapped
until they're at Tantus. Like when they were at Tantus, I was like, we're fucked. Everybody's dead. And then whenever they get pinned down by the shadow troopers and stuff, like they're losing. Like they are.
Yeah, it was not good.
Yeah.
Like
No,
not
like
good
I
at
was
all.
like, fuck. Like I
They
like
get
was like
carted to the room, like they're all just
Yeah.
incapacitated. And like Echo sees him, and he's like, "Oh shit," like, "Oh fuck." And
is that the rest of your crew? Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And the kids, like I think that's the lesson that I was supposed to learn, is that I shouldn't focus on the fan service too heavily and everything, because within the episode, like we got every big beat we wanted. We got the clone rebellion, we got the kid rebellion, and the creature a little bit too with the Zillo beast. It wasn't every creature, but I'm assuming that Zillo beast caused enough damage to just
probably let a lot loose.
That base
if I
is
had to
just
say so myself.
fucked. And so on one hand I could be like, I wanted Omega to have a Force moment, or whatever, and I wanted a big reveal for who was inside the red, whatever the fuck that Palpatine looked at, or it. I guess was that one that Palpatine that Hemlock showed, was that the training room and like these troopers? Was that the idea?
No,
so that's
different. It's definitely a different setting.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So that's if I have a gripe, and gripe in big air quotes, it is that unanswered things, but that's not the point of the show. We're in the Bad Batch. We're talking about Omega, Hunter, Crosshair, Echo, Wrecker. Like that's our crew. And
yeah, and I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that we placed a lot of importance on. There's a lot of stuff that we thought might go one way and it ends up going another. And that's, when it comes to some of those things, like what Palpatine's looking at in those chambers and what they are, I think it's a fair assumption that they were Force sensitives. They were either clones of him or they were Jedi who have fallen that they were keeping there. And I don't think it's a stretch to imagine that either way he'd be extremely satisfied no matter what he was looking at. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, what could possibly make him so happy? It's like, well, the fact that he's fucking winning is what's making him happy. He's Emperor Palpatine. So like and those are the sorts of things you can do in hindsight. Like I would never have. I'm going to have fun with it when it's happening and stuff. But now that it is over, now that it didn't get answered, now that they're seemingly destroyed and we'll never get that answer, safe to assume,
well,
it was just...
The data banks are destroyed, and like the blood, Omega's blood, like that Nala Se's lab was destroyed, but the rest of Tantus is still kind of there. So
That's true.
Like they could return. Like I don't want. Like I kind of want to go under the assumption that everything is destroyed and we're not returning to Tantus ever, and that's just the end of Project Necromancer for now. But it is picked back up, and Moff Gideon picks it back up, and they're all well. Is it just Moff Gideon, or is it the whole Shadow Council actually in with? It's
No, Moff Gideon seems to be alpha on his own thing, and
yeah.
everybody is kind of dissatisfied with him. So, I mean, like, that's the thing, is that it gets picked up. It certainly does, you know, potentially in the shuttering of the facility. They have to come through and get all their assets before they destroy it. And so it's a distinct possibility, you know, that could be the containers we see in the other universe with Thrawn, you know, like,
yeah.
it could be. They could be the, gel embalming things we see in Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know, like they could be anything, you know. And I think that's kind of, I think it's kind of interesting that we're in this place with this show where we know what the implications of what they were doing were. We know what this leads to. It's just that the strands in between are real interesting. And I do think that there was some of the stuff that was you know, touted about this season where it was like it connects all of it, and like the way that it connects all of it is by addressing the fact that it's been in the works since here.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's you know, that's enough. And I think that I thought it was effective. You know, I'm with you that some of those bigger questions we had about universe implicating shit didn't quite come to fruition. But that's the thing, is that we also know what Project Necromancer is.
We do, yeah.
So
we see the future. So it's like,
yeah,
it is this kind of mixed bag, and I don't want to get my hopes up and say these questions will be answered, but it leads me to believe that they're trying to. Like, it feels that they're going down the route of trying to make Star Wars as connected as possible. That everything that comes out is just as important to the story and everything, and I like, you know, it is the same galaxy. I don't know. It I guess it should be connected, but they're kind of like writing themselves into this. They're putting all their eggs into this basket, you know. They can't I would kind of like it if it's like, fuck it, 500 years before everything we know. Here's just something brand new.
And I don't think they'll ever leave
this
saga
era,
length. You know, whether it's you know, this gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, or it's in that gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. You know, like, I think that we'll get a lot of stuff there, and I think that even post Episode 9, we're gonna get some stuff eventually too. You know, like, so like we're gonna stay in this 50-year period probably forever. I don't think Star Wars will ever fully stray away from that. I think that they will sprinkle in other things, but I think that we will probably always have a story that relates to something in this era, because it's such a big galaxy, because there is so many stories to tell. And I think that that's kind of fucking awesome. I love that. So like, when it comes to like how you continue this arc for Necromancer, how you continue this, because we are still dealing with a huge gap.
Yeah.
We are still dealing with, how does Project Necromancer go from here to ending up on Mandalore, and how does the stuff that happened on Mandalore relate to what's happening on Exegol, and how are all these things connected? How Exegol seems like something that already has to be in the process in order to reach the heights it does. And I mean, the Final Order, you don't build that fleet in a day. So like, that's one of those things where it's like, there's clearly like, they have multiple eggs in multiple baskets, the Empire does, and we're seeing like Palpatine does, I should say. We're seeing a fraction of that. So it is interesting to think about where this goes directly from here, because the next time, timeline-wise, that I think we deal with anything like this is like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, which is like 15 years away for them, 20 years away for them.
Yeah,
so like
zero Necromancer in the original trilogy. You know, there's none of that.
Nothing in Rebels, nothing in nothing in Andor, nothing in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi comes the closest with those.
Man, it feels like they're trying to fix the sequels. You know, the main gripe that everyone has of Palpatine returning, so they're making all of these shows and all of these things to bring together the story of how Palpatine returned.
And I mean, we
I guess it's important.
Dark science, cloning.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is that we've now gotten it. Like, you really don't need to do anything else with it. We know what it leads to. We know it started this early. Yeah, it's like they end up getting to a point, like, the interesting part would be seeing, like, when Snoke comes into the picture, when that sort of stuff. Like, there are specific stories on that timeline that are interesting. I don't need it all filled in. Like, if we get that midpoint of when Snoke is created and born, and we, like, I would love an animated series set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens that kind of depicts the original trilogy crew.
Yeah.
And, you know, Ben Solo growing up, Luke Skywalker's temple, like that sort of stuff. Like, funny enough, that's how you could continue.
That's what it's the perfect. That's the perfect pickup point is with Snoke and future Luke. I like that. Oh man, I guess I was trying to think if this is the event that makes Palpatine. Like, I guess maybe Exegol starts now. Like, it could be that Tantus is now done, because, like, Palpatine, like, Hemlock was right. Like, this was Palpatine's, like, everything. This was what Palpatine wants the most. Stardust, you know, having that's good. You know, that's a great project that I feel like he loves too. But, like, him living forever,
that's his priority.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is that what he's making Hemlock think?
Oh.
Is he just telling Hemlock that what he is doing is of the utmost importance? And is it just a section of that project? Does he already have shit going on Exegol? Does he already have multiple dark science and cloning facilities all over the galaxy? Is Exegol already rolling? You know, like, so that's that sort of shit.
I like that. Like, because the Tantus being destroyed and the databanks going all, it's like a point in just science and research. You can't have everything in one location. It should be spread out and everyone working together, and so that information is never lost, and that once information is found, it's out and spread. And the fact that it is all in this one location, it can be all destroyed and you are back to ground zero. But
I could have another facility doing shit.
I could see Palpatine just siphoning everything from Tantus, like, secretly. Like, he's taking everything and just funneling it into Exegol. Like, he's like, let's see what the science can do, and then on Exegol, I'm going to see what I can do with some Sith.
I'm going to do my Sith ritualistic shit over here. Yeah. We'll see what's going on. So, like, yeah, I'm like, when it comes to Project Necromancer, I do appreciate the bounds now. I do like I didn't mind him returning in The Rise of Skywalker. I like the somehow Palpatine returned, dark science, cloning. That was enough for me. Like, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He literally says in the first one, you know, like, abilities to cheat death is something that they have deemed unnatural or whatever the fuck, you know. So, like, it's like, yeah, like, Palpatine's always wanted this, and that seems pretty clear. But I appreciate now that we have he's been working towards that since the Empire began, and we see the end. And that's kind of like, yeah, Palpatine works in the shadows. I like the imagination side of it. I like being able to go like, oh, that could be. So, like, literally, I think the only story you would not even need to tell, but I would like to see along this timeline is the creation of Snoke and what that effect has on Ben Solo and how that all comes about. Like, the descent of Ben Solo feels like it's relevant to this story. So, you know, Luke's temple could be a cool, you know,
I like
animated
that.
series.
A lot of dots,
you know?
that could really be connected pretty cool, like, in a cool way, but not necessary.
Yeah, no, I don't need it. A lot of
mystery surrounds Snoke and like that, and maybe that's the point. You know, it was just that I don't know. Maybe that is all it is, but it feels that they're going down this route, that they are trying to explain it in a way that will satisfy all the people that didn't like it in the first place.
Right.
You know,
and not to mention, like, it feels like we don't know strictly how much it relates to this, but the end of Ahsoka season 1, it doesn't feel completely unrelated to this. So, like, it does feel like they're doing something there. That's why I'm like, if they're going to go down this route, I'm okay with it. The fact that they've also done something here that I feel like it would be fine for them to lay it to rest, I appreciate how open it makes it. It's like, yes, they started this cloning stuff. It fell apart. we know that they don't lose all the data, or maybe they did. They have to start from scratch. That's why Snoke turns out the way he does, or that's why Palpatine doesn't get a perfect replication of his body. Like that's why, like, I think it's cool. We could end it, but there is still room to tell more story if they want to do that. So, like, I appreciate
Mace.
that.
I wanted Mace Windu. I wanted that because, like, that smile that Palpatine gives would be like the smile that makes the most sense. Like the guy who had him, the guy who was about to actually arrest and got him down, and then he sees him. That and in a confirmed death for me, I think it ties a good bow on Mace and everything. And and then if they want to bring him back, I hope they don't. I hope it is just like he's kind of gone and just in there. But so I mean, it is just these little things that I'm like, that's okay. But I mean, old Omega, man, I did not expect an older Omega whatsoever at all. I'm still kind of bringing that in, like
it was so, like, because there was already points earlier in the episode where I was already thinking, like, man, she's so much older. She's gotten, she's so much bigger than the other little kids who she used to be the same size as, and they all hug her, and she's the leader of them, and she's towering over all of them, hugging them. And I got real emotional during that part because I was just like, this character, which I've only known for 3 years, immediately I feel like we've grown with her to a degree. It reminded me of, I'm sure, a way that a lot of people felt about watching Ahsoka grow up. And that was a lot longer of a time to watch that fully go. So it's probably even crazier for those. But, I mean,
what do you think the time jump was? How much time do you think
10 years
go
maybe
forward? Yeah. Because I'm trying to think of just where she is right now. She's going off. Where are we at in the timeline right now? Now after the epilogue.
I'm like, I think that she says, the rebels need pilots more than ever. So the Rebel Alliance has made itself known, which means it's probably 5 years before the battle event. Yeah,
do we see a live action Omega?
I'm not gonna bet on it, because Tony Gilroy doesn't really give a shit.
I mean, we have seen that just their bait, like we get Zeb on that base, and like just a pilot bit, like I wonder.
That was in Mandalorian, but
oh wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. What am I thinking of? Oh, yeah, no. Okay.
You're thinking of the Mandalorian season 3.
Hold on.
But no, I mean, like, Andor season 2, I would be super down to see Omega, but I feel like what they're managing over there with Andor is pretty singular and pretty separate. And I mean, like, if she did pop up, it would be one of those, like, she just pops in, pops out, she kind of appears, and that's it. Dave Filoni did take up as, like, creative director of Lucasfilm prior to Andor season 2 going into production, so it's possible he shoehorned something in there. But it wouldn't be of Tony Gilroy's own accord. I'd be willing to bet Tony Gilroy doesn't know who Omega is. So, like,
I think my main thing was I thought that base Zeb and that whole Rebel,
that's
like
Mando.
Rebel base, yeah,
and that's New Republic. That's New Republic base.
Yeah,
so, like,
same.
And that's the thing is that, like, I think that's a place we could see her pop up. Ahsoka season 2. That's if we see Omega in live action, I think it's Ahsoka season 2. And she's in their New Republic, and she's, whether she's a, New Republic fighter or she's
how old maybe she's there. She would be like,
Ahsoka only takes place about 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so 40, 50 in that range.
So yeah, she's
40, I
maybe
think, probably on the younger end.
Maybe her fight is beginning to end there, like I'd say maybe we could get, her last fight, and be like, all right, like I've done my shit, or whatever that could be. But
it'd be interesting. Like, and that's my thing is that, like, I also don't know where she'd fit in because it feels like the natural next step for her is the Rebel storyline. So, like that would like the only thing we have on the horizon that deals with Rebel era is Andor, but I don't see her popping up in Andor season 2, which is why I'm like, unless we get some other announcement for some other show that happens during this time period, I really think this might be the last time we see Omega for a long time, like for a while. And
Wow.
that's fine with me, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe Skeleton Crew, you know, maybe there's something there. That's post episode 6. You know, they're dealing with a lot of kids in that one. Maybe Omega is, you know, maybe there's an involvement there that could be interesting.
Maybe this is like a very early part of the path too. Like they have to find these 3 Jedi's parents and get them back. And Hunter says that him and Echo are working on it. And I guess we see that time jump. Maybe they're already back.
Him and Rex, yeah.
Maybe. Oh, that's right, Rex. Maybe the path. Maybe in that epilogue, like path has been established, and
I would say it has.
Yeah. And
because
by Obi-Wan, it's
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that like if I had to guess, that epilogue takes place after Obi-Wan because the Rebel Alliance has made itself known. Omega's heard about it. Well, I guess Omega's plugged in though. Like if Rex is involved with the Rebel Alliance, she'd know that the Rebels exist before anybody else does. You know. However. By who knows, maybe by like it depends. Is this during the era of Rebels when Rex is actually fighting with the Rebels, or is it, you know, like it's all sorts of shit. So like I mean, I would love like one of my main things is that Ahsoka season 2 I think could bring us a Hera Omega reunion, and I think that could be really cool, seeing them as grown women versus the little girls that we saw them as in season 1.
Damn, that. I guess that's a good. They're about the same age, so that's a good, good basis for me.
Hera might even be like a little older. So like, I'm
because when they, I'm trying to think of the Ryloth arcs in Bad Batch, because she was a little.
That
bit
was
older,
season
maybe.
1.
Yeah.
I mean, like. Maybe not. She just seemed it, you know. And maybe that's
mature.
Because we know Hera, and she's had a lot of experience and stuff. So like, it's just But I'm like, when it comes to what Omega could be in next, if she's in anything, I think Ahsoka season 2 is our best bet. I think that as far as, you know, adapting animation into live action and all that stuff, like Ahsoka seems to be the place where they love to do that. So like, unless they announce something sooner, that's kind of where my money is.
Let's see. Tales of the Empire coming very soon, but this is to deal with Barriss and
Morgan
storyline. Yeah, I guess maybe. No, but it's like her early start. Elsbeth's like early start. So there's no.
We won't get
that's
anything
not
relating to the Bad Batch there. Maybe like Hemlock appears, but like that's the thing, is that like it would be Imperial stuff. It wouldn't be Kaminoan shit. So like.
Dr. Carr. That was maybe one little thing. It could be cool is if Dr. Carr is like somehow Pershing's mother. I don't know. Like and like if Dr. Carr ends up getting with a Pershing, you know, and then that their kid ends up being Dr. Pershing. I don't know. That was the only thing I could like maybe see of Dr. Carr coming back, is that she
could
is
be cool.
the mother of Pershing. Just the Kaminoan patch. Like I don't know. It's just
well, yeah, and there was a he did have like a literal monologue about his mom in The Mandalorian season 3, but I'm pretty sure it's about how he studied. Did he say something about how his mom studied
cloning? Like,
Ooh,
I think.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I'd like that.
Which would mean that Pershing would be a child of a clone, and I don't know. I guess whoever the guy happens to be. What if it's fucking one of the batch? Like,
that'd be incest.
Oh, yes, actually. Oh, yeah, now that I didn't quite put those two together. Okay, because there was... Who did she talk to
Echo.
at the end? Yeah, Echo.
Yeah, I had the same thought. Like, I was like, oh, and then I went, I went like, nope, like, not that. That.
No, wait
no,
a
it couldn't. No, it won't.
Wait a minute. Yeah, okay. Didn't think about that one.
Because I had the same thought. I was like, oh, there seems like no, there can't be. You know, like it was like literal seconds
Why does it
apart
have to come
for
up
me.
in every Game of Thrones and Star Wars and just why,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Star Wars incest is it's at the base. That's at the base level for Star Wars. Luke and Leia kiss and
God
Empire Strikes
damn
Back,
it.
and that's it, man.
Okay.
No, but
Okay.
regardless, I'm fucking around. But yeah, I think that I'd be interested in that. I would be interested in that, and I think that'd be one of those things that you'd probably. I don't know. Like, I wonder how much Ahsoka season 2 will deal with this sort of stuff. It feels like this is that's the place in the timeline that feels like it would be appropriate to address a lot of this stuff. Because now that Ahsoka exists, that's where I want all of that. I'm like, Mandalorian season 4, I want it to be a return to form. I want it to be like a back to the basics sort of thing. After season 3,
yeah, because I guess
even though season 3 probably should have been it,
yeah.
But hey, they don't know when to stop making things. Besides the Bad Batch, at least what we know about them mistreating animation on the Disney side is that they won't feel like they need to let it run longer than it needs to. They get their story, they tell their story, and it's over.
Yeah, that's it. They don't get more to go on in animation. You get your time and that's it. But live action, we'll let it run for 8 years. Mandalorian.
We've had two seasons in a row on the Mandalorian side that I feel like should have been the last one.
And yeah, them saying, well, we got a good thing going here. We got the volume. We got these actors that don't even have to be here, and
we're doing season 4 in a movie. Like, okay,
yeah, it's and who knows. It feels that it's not just singular show planning anymore. That they are planning everything
specifically
together.
At that timeline, and for sure,
culminating in Filoni's whatever the fuck we're gonna get.
Maybe that's where we see Omega. Maybe Omega pops up in Ahsoka season 2 or the Mandalorian season 4 somehow. Maybe Boba Fett returns. Maybe we finally get that Boba and Omega interaction that we've kind of been wanting for a long time. It could be. That's an even better example for who she's the same age as Boba Fett.
I like that. Yeah, literally, I guess created at the same time there. I guess older than the Batch. She's technically older than Hunter. Doesn't appear like it. They are aged differently. But
I appreciate that. I'm like, that's one thing that I hope we never actually see from Rex or Hunter or the Batch is like, now that they've all reached this place, they all go out of old age.
Yeah, naturally.
None of them.
Naturally. Yeah. I feel that's I feel if Omega returns to them, I like your idea of it, like for being like for advice or for not to be like, hey, I need your skills, or whatever, because they're past their time.
I would fucking love to see Tamara Morrison made up to look a lot older and playing Hunter. That would be fucking awesome. I would adore that.
Okay. And just that's advice. Just come back and be like, hey, I need some guidance. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And then they'd be like, Omega, you always know what to do. I don't know, just something simple like that.
And that's the thing is that like I said at the top, I don't even really know that I want to see any of these motherfuckers again. Let it lie. I love it.
Pabu is the path's safe haven, I feel like. If you can't find a Jedi's parents or the kid's parents, what better place to send them to than Pabu?
Could be directly tied to the path. So that could be like
maybe that's their role, is like Hunter, Crosshair, and Wrecker. They just stay at Pabu, and any kids that have to come back, they accept them, and they'll try to find their families as much as they can. But I like the path. The path is very interesting to me. That's another thing I'd like to see fleshed out, because that's a very cool concept for Star Wars. That I don't like how after Order 66, what the fuck's, I don't know. Like there's a lot going on there, and how Jedi.
Yeah, that could definitely be interesting. It would have to be based around. I mean,
it's like Asajj. We didn't like Quinlan. I guess the reason that Quinlan was thought to appear was from the novelizations of like what we're getting from Asajj, right?
The
that's
Dark
where.
Disciple.
Mhm.
That actually takes place prior to this. So like,
So the path is kind of already. Oh, that's right, because Obi-Wan.
yeah, when it comes to the path's not in those
It's
books. The path was established by Obi-Wan Kenobi.
oh, okay. I didn't.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is the origin of the path, and because Kenlin is name dropped there, people assume that he helps
That's
create the path.
okay.
However, it could also be that he's just a Jedi that passed through here. So I'm like, that's the other thing, is that like, I don't know. I don't know what this means. So like, when it comes to the path and getting a show around the path, it would have to be around protecting one Jedi. And at this time, it feels pretty obvious who they want to
Grogu?
protect at all cast. Yeah.
It's just we'll stick with Keller and Beck and maybe pick up there, like wherever Grogu was taken. Pabu?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, that's the thing, is that when it comes to all this stuff, eventually he ends up in that storage locker, essentially.
We have no idea how the fuck he got there. Yeah,
exactly.
That's
why I'm like, it feels like if they're going to tell any story relating to the path, to me, that's the one they'd capitalize on. If they wanted to do something else, I'd be super down for it. If they did want to introduce a new young Jedi who can be around at the time of, that's always the complicated thing with introducing Jedi, is that so they're not involved in anything else, they don't fight in anywhere else, and it's like, yeah, like that's fine, but like,
it's their whole thing, is that they can't.
They would be, yeah.
It's like that like in Obi-Wan, it's like Jedi cannot refuse the call to help, or whatever, like in that bar or whatever, and that's, yeah, it would be a little weird. But if it's Grogu, then it's like, well,
yes, then you have that justification.
It's
so like
he's
that's
child adults that can't really do anything quite.
That's
yet.
That's why he's the perfect entity for it,
and they're moneymaker. So I feel like anytime they can return to him, they would. But okay, wow, yeah. I mean, I don't need any. Like, I hope Hunter just stays on Pabu forever. Wrecker and Echo feels like he's not. He's going out. He will never retire. I don't know. Like that dude.
No, yeah,
that dude
he's gonna do what he can for as long as he can.
But the rest of them, I don't know. I feel like they'll just stay at Wrecker's very, very happy on Pabu. He gets, I feel like he's gonna be best buds with the mayor. That's my head canon.
Yeah, him and Shep are best buds for sure.
That's the only reason. Like, I wanted to see the old looks of Wrecker and Crosshair, but I also wanted to see if like Crosshair was less, less of a dick, or just more. Not that he's
back.
a dick, but if he's just kind of like,
he's not chill by any stretch. Like he's a
fuck. What was whenever they had them captured in the training room, and he's like, last time, Crosshair, he didn't my mind control or my experiments didn't work on him, but now that he can't get away from it or whatever. I've changed some shit and I'm better, or whatever. And is that, I mean, they all got out right afterwards, but like, did he do something to Crosshair then? Like, was that done, or was he going to do it?
I think he was going to. I think he was in the process of doing it to Hunter. I think they were gonna work the way around there.
You think it's just purely like emotion, like just torture until you?
Yeah, I mean that's what the Sith, that's what Vader and other Sith did to the Inquisitors. That's what
it's
to
not
a lot of the
an inhibitor chip. Like, it's not a thing that they just can turn on and make you a.
Well, I think that he wants to turn them into shadow troopers, as we see.
You'll make excellent operatives or whatever.
Yeah. So like, it's like, I think that that's what he's going for, and I think that we see that they're not really. Like, they just kind of wake up, they get turned on essentially, and it's like they're basically robots. So I think that's what they were like going for. I don't think anything happened to Crosshair to where that would happen. So like,
okay, that's good.
And if it did, that would kind of suck, because then it'd be like,
but then Hemlock's gone.
More here.
So it's another death that fell off a cliff. Any death where someone just falls into an abyss. Why do they do it to us? Why do they do this so often? I mean, who's fallen in abyss and has actually died? You know, Palpatine? No. Maul? No. Who? What? I feel Tech. Actually, okay, Flock.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe a nice little parallel between their deaths there.
Okay. Yeah.
Could be.
No.
But yeah, man.
Little hand, you know, like I thought that the moment whenever Crosshair shot the, you know, the handcuffs or whatever, I thought they were gonna do a little more to show him like freaking out a little bit before, and then he's like
lock in and do it. Yeah, like,
but
I think just the fact that he did it was kind of like the overcoming of it. It's you know, I'm not what I was.
That's,
you know,
maybe another little red herring that you know, that Hemlock and Crosshair's little hand thing.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't even think that was intentional.
But is that just a tick they give to Hemlock? You know, just cause, or like,
yeah,
why?
Well, and that's my thing is that like I don't know that like when it came to Crosshair, it seemed like it was a different thing because like so I see where you're coming from. I absolutely do, but it doesn't surprise me that they're not connected. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me they're not connected, but I do see how you could think they are, if that makes sense.
And so, and I kind of, when Tarkin was like, you'll be expecting my arrival shortly, I was like, is he bringing anyone else with him?
Yeah.
That was the
curiosity.
But then they were gone. You know, they got in the shuttle, gone before Tarkin even arrived. So I'm like, okay, better. You know, better that no one arrived while they were still there. Because they could have brought Vader, and they could have
3 Star Destroyers pulled up, which would have automatically made their escape more difficult. If they had arrived any sooner than they did. I love that trope. As soon as they went off into light speed and they stuck there and they showed up, I was like, fuck yeah! You know, like it was, there was so much in this episode that just made me so fucking happy.
Hemlock's death, man. I was like,
I think that was up.
That was
I was up.
I was like,
yeah,
because I knew it was gonna be like Omega trusts them enough to shoot. You know, it wasn't gonna be like Hemlock was gonna get past and they would have to find her again. I figured it was gonna be something like that, and then I guess him falling off the edge is okay. I would have.
He got loaded with like 5 bolts before he did, though.
Oh, that's true. That's fair. He fell into the abyss, but dude got lit up.
He was shot like...
Dude got lit up. Yeah, they didn't... Hunter
they didn't hold any fucking
like,
punches.
We're gonna get you all.
Bow, 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 bow. Like he's falling and they're still bow, bow, bow. You know, like
I'd like my headcanon is after they hug, they even look over and just put a few more shots down there or drop a grenade, some shit. I don't know. Like Crosshair zooms in with the scope just to make sure.
I really love Nala Se going out and taking Rampart with her. Kind of a nice Rampart,
dude. What the fuck?
Rampart led the bombardment on Kamino. She gets to put an end to him there. Very, very cool.
That is nice. I guess he's just in his ways. He wasn't going to... I really wanted him to kind of have the realization that Dr. Carr had, you know? But, yeah.
I'm kind of glad he didn't. I like the idea that they're not going to give every Imperial a conscience. Some of them are just like that.
Man, but
I like that.
The tease.
And it wasn't even necessarily that he was trying to get back in good graces with the Empire. He was like, now they'll give me whatever I want. And maybe that's just his freedom. Maybe it's like a place away from it all. Maybe it is a position back in the Empire. I don't know. But like he was like, this is just a bargaining chip. I don't even give a fuck about
that's
this.
True.
Okay? You know, like
but the beginning, he's like, tell me everything about Project Necromancer. I thought we were about to get a fucking Nala Se Expo drop.
And then they
and then just
they cut back and he's like, wow, that's a lot of interesting information.
Like,
I'm going to take that.
Shit, I didn't even think a child could be that important, and then just blew up, you know. So I was like, oh, that's okay. Well, I mean, what she would have told him is Omega is the glue that can bind whatever. You know, it's already stuff that we kind of
It's stuff
know,
we knew, yeah.
Maybe there could have been something new introduced that spiced it up. I don't know, but I guess that's... Whenever he said that, he's like, tell me everything about Project Necromancer. I was like, here we go. It's time. And then like...
Cut away, cut back. Yeah, it was funny. It was funny.
But
And I mean, the right move. It would have been a momentum stopper. It would have really slowed things down. But yeah, it was simple and poignant and tense, and all in all, we just finished one of my favorite television shows of all time. Definitely one of my favorite animated series of all time.
It beat Clone Wars. That's for sure. The
debate
is
for
Rebels.
For me, it washed Clone Wars after one season. I love Clone Wars.
I think a lot of people think of Clone Wars as like the final season and not like the whole show. And
it's kind of similar to the way, like, I also don't take this the wrong way. I also love Revenge of the Sith, but I think a lot of people view Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars in like the same, like, it doesn't get better than this, baby. I watched it when I was 7. You know, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so that's
when I was 7 too. The only thing that I cared about was the fight at the end. It wasn't the whole movie. Yeah, it was literally just Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Swords go burr.
That's
you know,
all
like,
I
it's
cared
super
about.
cool.
Yeah. So, but
no, I'm with you though. And so, like, often whenever I see people put Clone Wars at the top of their favorite Star Wars television shows or favorite Star Wars animation, I mean, I disagree wholeheartedly. I like Clone Wars, but like, it didn't take much for the Bad Batch to overtake it for me. And
if we're talking single seasons, there's a debate there for the end, and we can debate. I think that's the more interesting ranking. There is ranking each season, and then Clone Wars would probably be.
And Clone Wars is a completely different kind of show. You know, it is an anthology. It is episode arcs. It's not necessarily carrying over, and you know, so like it is different. It's completely different, to be sure. But
yeah, we got. I don't want to say it's my number one, but man, it kind of feels like it are like it. It almost feels like it. I do have to rewatch Rebels. I don't want to say that it is until I'm there, but
hey, I will have to make a decision by
this is
what
true.
June 2nd. Is that the day?
June 3rd. Yeah.
June 3rd.
So
June 3rd, we're releasing an episode on our top 10 favorite Star Wars television shows of all time. So we'll have to make a decision, Bad Batch versus Rebels there. Super excited, but yeah, it's easily top 3 Star Wars for me. I love it. I adore it.
Andor, Rebels Batch.
It's Andor 2A, 2B, Rebels and Batch. You know, I don't know which is which, but yeah, like it's they're up there, man. It's too good of a show to not be, and it's crazy. It's crazy that it's over. You know, we've done 450 episodes in between our first and last coverage of the Bad Batch.
Damn. That is. And man, if they, you know, Tales, it feels like they always want an animated show like
somewhere
that's
in the
not
works.
Tales of the Jedi and not Tales of the
not the
like,
shorts.
They
want a show.
Yeah, and
I'm hoping. I hope that's still the case. You know, we've had the Bad Batch. We've had that to go on for a couple, like 3 years. So like, I anticipate we'll go a decent amount of time without one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
we got a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot.
Yeah.
In the works.
I mean, we still got Andor season 2. We got, I mean, obviously Tales of the Empire tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Andor season 2, The Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka season 2, Mando season 4, the Mando movie. We know all those things for sure. I'm hoping that maybe we get an announcement for a new show. I mean, May 4th. That'd be fucking awesome. I'm not counting on it, but that would be really cool. If not, I think Star Wars Celebration next year is a shoo-in to have an announcement for a new animated series. Or maybe there is an announcement, and that's the first time we get like any sort of teaser about what it's going to be, or who's been cast, or what the characters are, or anything like that. Because I sure, like, I don't expect it to be, and I pray it's not I'm praying this isn't the last Star Wars animated long form television show we get.
Disney's my
I
only
hope
fear is that they're owned by Disney, and Disney does not
doesn't give a fuck about it, man. It's
like the history of them like wanting to shut down animation as soon as they like can, even though like they use the wrong reasons. So like Jungle Book flop or what, I don't know. I saw something about like how masterfully crafted Jungle Book was and how like it's crazy, and then they use the box office of the Jungle Book or something to shut down animation and say that they don't need it anymore or something like that. And it's like, but
well,
look,
it's just live action stuff is more profitable because more adults watch it, more adults are willing to pay to see it. So like it's
yeah, it's, but look how good this show look like.
Mhm.
The visuals are insane. Like this is not even animation at some points. It's like it might as well be live action. Like it's
Mhm.
and it allows for crazier stories to be told. It's like
Yeah.
in Star Wars, if you want to do some stuff in live action, a lot of it's just impossible, and you have to do VFX anyway. You have to animate it pretty much anyways, you know? It's
Yeah.
like when you're
That's,
there.
I that's why ultimately I don't think Star Wars I know it's rooted in live action films. It is a universe that is made to be animated, I think, and as an art form I adore it. I mean, like, one of my wants that I've wanted for a long time that I know we got years ago, but we could do a lot better now, is a Star Wars animated film, a theatrically released animated movie. I would love that. I hope this isn't the last show. I really want there to be more animation any way we can get it. If that is just the shorts, it's just the shorts. I'll take it, but I hope they don't abandon animation altogether. I know that and that's the other thing is that like I love this art style. If they decide to stick with it, I won't be disappointed.
Switch it up.
I would love to switch it up. I
Mhm.
think that we've reached a place that's even better than we were 10 years ago when Rebels started. You're not locked into that animation style. You're not locked into Clone Wars animation style. We could just do something really interesting with animation that you just don't get the opportunity to do live action. So I'm praying for it, but I'm not holding out hope strictly.
I guess tomorrow might be the day. You know, we got some stuff coming tomorrow. With I guess we have it's the Acolyte extended trailer that is for sure happening after Phantom Menace, right? Or before? Is it before?
I think it's after, and
Okay.
it's an exclusive sneak peek. So I don't know what that means. It doesn't expressly say it. Like I know when it was Rogue One, it was like a 10-minute segment of the first episode of Andor.
Oh.
They re-released Rogue One right before Andor started, or a few months before.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what they did there. So I'd be incredibly interested by that. I mean, I'm excited for the Acolyte. Unfortunately, as of right now, it is a month away. And our schedule's opened up a lot since we have so much scheduled ahead of time. But we probably aren't going to cover the Acolyte. Our Star Wars coverage, if you've made it this far, we appreciate you greatly. It's not popular. Whenever people go to Star Wars shows, they listen to Star Wars podcasts dedicated to Star Wars, and we know that. We just love discussing Star Wars, and matter of factly, we will probably discuss the Acolyte. If we do, it'll probably be Patreon exclusive stuff. I'm not going to promise any degree of regularity. When that gets closer, I'll be more forthright about it, but I'm hoping that it's exciting enough that we talk about it every Wednesday. We put it up on Patreon, and that's it.
Who knows? Maybe it drops and we're like, holy fuck.
Never
Like
mind. We're covering this shit.
if it's
Yeah.
an Andor situation, and it's just like we're getting some great ass television. I don't know. Maybe we do go there, but yeah, it's we'll just have to see. We have some time, I guess, to get there, and things to happen. But man, my only thought was like, all right, at the end of this epilogue, I'm like, is there gonna be the batch will return, like an event, Avenger, the thing they do at the end of Marvel movies. And I watched the very last. I waited until it ended. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
All the
wait,
credits.
and
Yeah.
so, but
Yeah,
And
nothing,
thank you,
nothing there.
man. Thank you to everyone who worked. Like, goddamn. Like, there was some tweets last night of like the fans' appreciation, and like the Kiners like quoted it and were like, "I'm crying right now." Like, oh my god, thank you for all this. It was like a fan compilation of just everyone saying thank you, and like I was just like, oh my, like what this is. This is the good side of Star Wars, you know. This is
the fandom that's been cultivated for the Bad Batch is a truly special bunch. It's it was lovely. It was so much fun. Sean and Deanna Kiner being the bedrock for Bad Batch Twitter and the chaos that ensued, and Jennifer Corbett giving into that a little bit was so much fun, and Nasir Dalal having a little fun. It was so much fun every week, and it sucks so bad that it's over.
We know who the real ones are now, though. You know, we know the real Star Wars. If you made it through the Bad Batch, you have to love Star Wars.
You're real as hell.
You know?
You're real as hell.
You got to.
Oh God, I love you if you made it through.
Maybe it's not the point of why they made the show, but like now. Season 1, people just hated Omega, and they're like, fuck it, I can't deal with this little girl in Star Wars, I can't watch it, blah, blah, blah. But then everyone who just stuck with it, yeah, it's like, you realized how great of a show it is, and it's just Star Wars. And like
it's just Star Wars, man. It's so fucking good.
It's a weed out, you know? We got all the people that we don't really care for.
Hey, if Jennifer, like, if this is the team from now on, I fucking hope it is, buddy. If Jennifer Corbett wants to write, I'll watch anything Jennifer Corbett's attached to from the get-go now, because I mean, as far as like Star Wars writing and writing in general, this was just a well thought out, well done story. And I mean, that's the thing too, is that the Kiners also helped score Ahsoka, so they won't be going away anytime soon. You know, like I think that's something that we can kind of count on to be a part of Star Wars television permanently.
I hope they are a staple.
I hope they are too. Yeah. I love them. I love them so much, and the music in this one did not disappoint. Like the music that was building as she like hugs Crosshair and
bum, 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 bum. Just their theme is just so. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps even right now. Yeah, it's like oh man, yeah. And it's like it was made with passion. People cared about this show. You could just tell. And like, if it's not everybody, at least like there's a lot of people that do. Like, and I saw that for the final episode, everyone came into the booth to record, I guess. And then someone was like, D. Bradley Baker met with D. Bradley Baker to meet with D. Bradley Baker to, and like, and throw in Michelle Long or whatever. And,
Michelle Long, yeah.
Oh,
she's great, man. I only for the first time. I've avoided a lot of like behind the scenes stuff for the Bad Batch. I will now be tearing it apart, like behind the scenes stuff, just out of pure desperation to keep. And that's why is like anything new I can get after it's over I'd like, so I'm gonna go back through behind the scenes stuff now. But I like for the first time I heard Michelle Ong like actually speak, and she sounds just like Omega. Like she just sounds like that, and I'm like I heard her talk, and I was like,
that's cool.
I love you. I was like, I love you so much. But yeah, and I mean, like, she doesn't sound exactly like Omega, but there's like, it's like obvious that like the voice, yes, it comes from her. Yeah, and God, I just can't emphasize enough how much I love that character and how important this show has been for the last 3 years for me. And when it comes to Star Wars,
goggles on the dash,
dude,
that guy, and still there. Maybe he recorded everything, and maybe she can turn it back on and watch some shit, and good memories, and that's how she keeps it. I'm keeping that alive. I'm keeping it alive that Tech recorded everything, and she's got it all right there. I'm glad that it didn't stay in the Pabu Museum. I'm glad she took that shit out of there. She's like, that's mine.
They did that when they thought they'd never come back to Pabu.
Did they take it out? Oh. Because I remember them setting it in there. And
yeah, they set it in there when they thought they would never come back to Pabu. When the Batch thought they were never coming back.
That's right.
So when they do come back, they're like, mine. It's like, you don't need to leave. We don't need to leave this. She did leave Lula, it seems like. I didn't see Lula.
Oh. No. I think, no, it was in the seat. The original.
Oh, it was Lula?
The OG Lula.
The OG Lula.
The red and black.
Not Straw Lula. Yeah.
Because Straw Lula was given to Jess, or the one of the kid Jedis.
Yeah, one of the little ones.
Their name was, but but I think Lula was in Omega ship. I think. And
Good.
Gonki.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
We got
Gonki.
Gonki.
She's rocking the
Lula.
red head. She's rocking the red headband, by the way.
Wait, was she wearing it? Did she put it on?
It's a headband. She's rocking it up here.
Oh, did I not even see that?
Yeah, Hunter's rocking a new one. Hunter's rocking a new headband, and Omega's wearing his. I'm pretty sure because she's wearing a red headband. It's not wrapped around her forehead the same way. It is put on her head more like a standard hold your hair back sort of headband. But given the new coloration of Hunter's, I'm willing to bet that that's what's happening there.
Oh, yeah.
So
Hunter's definitely, Hunter's got it's pure red. It is Hunter's.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's go. Yeah, because Hunter's is like a yellow or like a
like
gray.
An orange, black, gray sort of thing going on. I love it.
Oh my God, I didn't even notice that. I think I was just like, holy fuck, old Hunter,
yeah,
old Omega. I'm like, oh my
know.
God.
Dude,
it is kind of on the top of her head, like, oh my God.
She's rocking the red headband. She's got Tex goggles, and she's got Lula, which originally belonged to Wrecker. I'll have to scan that a little bit more to see if she actually ended up with anything of Crosshairs that I didn't catch.
Oh, yeah.
But
let's see. I guess she's about to walk in the ship right now. Yep, I see Lula. Lula was in there. Gonki, and the screen. It looked like I don't know why that looked a little different. Have we seen that? I don't know. It just looked really cool. I don't know the graphic display on her little ship, but looks like just Tex goggles, Lula, and Gonki was all that I could see in the ship. But yeah, it would have been cool. I guess she's got Echo's gun that Echo gave her.
Didn't think of that.
Lula came from Wrecker.
Hunter's headband, Tex goggles. Yeah, Crosshairs is the only one that I'm a little. I'm like, I can't think of anything that she ended up with there, but there. I mean, that's not strictly important. That was just I was looking for it if it was there, but if it's not, that's fine. Yeah, especially given that like the end of their conflict, she like walks up to both Hunter and Crosshair and looks at them, and then immediately jumps into Crosshair's arms and hugs him.
That was interesting. And
it was a cute moment.
Like just hug them both to go to Crosshair first. That was. I don't know. Like
he locked in. He did what he needed to do at the right time, and she. I think it's just like if there was anybody who like needed that hug, kind of. I feel like that's kind of how I looked at it. Is that like Crosshair is the one who immediately needs this affection.
I see. Yeah,
and it's
Hunter
also
knows.
like
Hunter. They know, and because we see the end,
they haven't hugged a lot. Nobody's hugged a lot in this show. So like seeing Crosshair embrace someone and make it out of the fight he never thought he would, and it was beautiful. I fucking loved it. I love that they got to put bolts in Hemlock and put him down, and then it's just
Rampart blowing up. That was nice. I was like, fuck yes. Whenever because I was like, really, dude, you're really going down this route. Like, I get it. You're, whatever. It's a big bargaining chip. Sure, makes logical sense. But I'm like, dude, like, you don't have to be doing this. And then,
and I love that Omega's like completely confident. He's like, they won't risk killing you, and she's like, you won't either.
Yeah,
you need me alive, you fucking idiot.
He's like, you dumbass.
And he's like, God damn it,
you're right. He's like, you're right, damn it. Yeah.
So it was wonderful entering that interaction, kind of even knowing that it wasn't like he's lost, and that was awesome. I adored it, and I'm overwhelmingly happy with the finale. This was one of my favorite finales in Star Wars ever. Up there with the Andor season finale and Mando season 2 finale and Clone Wars series finale, and I think it enters that tier for me. It's that good and it's that fulfilling. And
it's one of the happiest for sure. I mean, they gave us
the happiest ending we could possibly get. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Yeah.
They knew they'd put us through enough. They were like, don't worry, all is well.
The only thing I could say to make it a little bit happier is if Nala Se just kind of ran out the door, threw that grenade, and Rampart just blew up and all this, and she made it out somehow. But that, it was a meaningful sack. Rampart killed her. It wasn't like she blew up. It wasn't that she... I don't know. Like, she knew she was gonna die. She was fully okay with it. But if Rampart wasn't there, I think she gets out. Does she just blow it up and die with it, or does she just, I don't know. Does she try to get out and everything?
I don't know. It's a good question. I kind of took her intentions to kind of be like, I think she was going to go out with it no matter what.
My science cannot get in their hand, and maybe her being
if
alive,
she's around, it's enough.
It's in her
know?
head too. Like her data bank set, is that
that's how they got so far. Is because Nala Se came and helped. Like that's why they developed as much as they did. So like, yeah, I mean, it's a great sacrifice, a great ending to a character we've known since 2002. She was in Attack of the Clones.
Damn.
Like she's like the first. She's the first Kaminoan we ever meet. Or I think she is. I might be tripping. It might be somebody else, but I'm pretty sure it's Nala Se.
Sounds right. I mean, it's either Nala Se or the main dude,
Lama Su.
Yeah, or Lama. Yeah, I guess whoever greets Obi-Wan whenever he plops down in Kamino. Is that the first time we ever see Kamino? Is it Attack of the Clones? So
yeah, I think that's Nala Se too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but rest in peace. You went out like a hero, like a champ,
like a G. Yes, that was awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy with where we ended the show, and I couldn't be happier. In fact, I don't think that there was a possible way for me to be more joyous than I am right now. Given
the Empire just not being on Pabu. Don't even touch it. Don't even.
And there's a justification for that. The only Imperials that knew about Pabu were the ones that were on Tantus, and they got killed. So cool. Nobody knows about Pabu again.
I'm down. It was just more of a worry. I'm like, well, fuck. Does the Empire just always log their shit? Or like, does it? Right. Or no? But no. And part of me wanted Tantus to be destroyed. I kind of wanted them to bombard Tantus a little bit.
Do the orbital bombardment.
But then it's like the things they needed to destroy were destroyed, and to destroy a planet or the jungle is the kind of maybe. No, I'm glad they didn't, because I was thinking maybe the tweets. One of my theories was they're gonna do a holdo maneuver. Through the planet. But and destroy Tantus, but
I almost screenshotted that and added the Kyners and was like, do you see what you do to people?
Exactly. See, they send me down these rabbit holes of I'm expecting the worst, I'm expecting.
Well, and then the eye snapping open was a literal shot in this episode.
And that was it.
Where the Zillo Beast opens his eye and then he immediately eats someone, which was the Kyner tweet. So it's just that. I was like, oh, there they go. The only one that I'm still kind of hung up on is the Puss in Boots 5 deaths thing. I guess it could be Puss in Boots could be the Batch, and the 5 deaths could be Hemlock and the 4 Shadow Troopers.
Hemlock.
The 5 deaths
Nala
could
Se.
be Hemlock, Nala Se, Rampart. The main Clone X, he does die. He gets a javelin thrown through his chest and he gets pinned against a wall, which was gnarly. I don't know if you could see his feet were hanging there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hunter did that shit.
That wasn't a record throw. That wasn't a strong strength.
That was Hunter. That was Hunter just doing the fucking thing.
After being weakened too by the shit, he was like, "Oh, this you fucking deserve this.
You
one,
fuck it, yeah,
yeah."
No, that was a big one. But yeah, I'm like, is there any other? Can't think of another death of note. That's why I'm like 5. It might have just been another.
Just send you down the wrong.
There's 5 members of the Bad Batch. There, that's.
They were death. They were Puss in Boots,
and Puss in Boots was Tantus.
Yeah, it was Hemlock. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know the end of. Does Puss in Boots go? Death is greeting him. So I'm. It's okay to spoil it. It's
Puss in Boots doesn't die at the end of The Last Wish.
Okay. So if it is Hemlock, no, he got blasted up. That dude's fucking gone, dude.
Yeah, that dude's fucking.
He's gone. But okay, yeah. I mean that. And if I'd say that they did leave it in the perfect place of if they want to answer any more of the stuff, they can. Like Tantus isn't fully gone, and if they want to return, they can. If they don't have to. Like it is closed enough where I'm satisfied with everything. But if they want to fill in some more gaps and they have a Zillow Beast that they can work with now. If that has to come back into play, I don't know. And then I'm assuming those the canisters of the Force sensitives are still there. And maybe Hemlock and Palpatine were really the only two to know that there are Force sensitives there. So now that Hemlock's gone and maybe Palpatine just that's what goes to Exegol. Maybe is he's like, I need to take that. That is the most important part. But yeah, think that's I don't know. I don't even I don't
surreal,
have any
man.
crazy like
it was surreal.
I would have thought I'd have some crazy theories, but I think that's just a testament to how well they ended the show. Like
how well they wrapped it up.
I don't need
like
it.
When it comes to the batch, like we're kind of in the same place we've been the end of the last couple episodes, where it's like we don't know exactly what comes next, but it's the batch are going to live out their days. Omega's going to join the Rebel Alliance, and that's kind of it. And I love that it was like that. I love the epilogue we got. I appreciate that it was, I'd been talking for a while about the epilogue we're going to get. I didn't know what it was going to be. I speculated that it was going to be them returning the kids to their families. Maybe Asajj Ventress comes and pulls up, but I'm also like, I would have been fine with an Omega Force moment. I'm so glad she didn't get one. I'm very thankful that they just did like Asajj might have been telling the truth. That's open still. They can still do a Force sensitivity thing if they want to. But now it's been undeveloped. She grew with the batch. There's a chance it didn't. If she did have it, it didn't.
You gotta have training. You gotta train for it, and
gotta cultivate it.
She could have been during this whole
and
time.
It's obviously
grown up, but
it's never too late either. As is exemplified by Sabine and Ahsoka and stuff. So like, but yeah, man. I don't know. All in all, I'm extremely happy, and I am incredibly thankful for that. I was worried I was going to be sobbing because somebody died, and it turns out I'm sobbing because everybody lived, and that's good. That's fine with me. But
I mean, we were set on losing Papa. We were set on losing the whole batch. We were set on all that, and now that they're just like, no,
you got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So and this show had never shied away from being devastating in their finales. So I'm glad that this one flipped it on its head, which I was extremely happy with. But yeah, do we have any parting thoughts on the Bad Batch? Not this episode, not this season.
The whole
the
thing.
Bad Batch.
All of it in total.
It's been an honor.
Oh my God. I mean, that's just 3 years. 3 years we've been chilling with this gang. And I'm good. I don't need more, but I would like more.
I would love it.
I would love it more, but I'm not going to hope for it. I'm good. They tied perfect bows on almost everything. Pretty much everything. I would have liked to see Fee at the end.
Yeah, Fee's kind of the only one that's like, man, we really just kind of left that in the dust, huh? Fee kind of went away with it all. But hey, it is what it is.
That's okay. That's okay. If
It
that's
is
the
for
biggest
sure.
gripe I have, Fee not showing up.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Thank God. That's fine with me. That is fine with me. But yeah, man,
Is there anything else? I don't know. I'm trying to not to leave out.
Yeah, tomorrow will be the 3-year anniversary of the series inception. May 4th. It premiered on May 4th. And in 2 days will be the 3 years since our first episode covering the Bad Batch. So we covered it May 5th. And it was actually published May 5th, midnight, which means that we covered it May 4th.
That's awesome. That is.
So, 3 years removed. We've come a long way. The show came a long way. So, hate to see her go. Hate to see her go. But I'm so happy with Siri's picking me up here. Sorry.
I think even Apple knows, Siri had to get a word in there. Like there's the
Yeah.
it's
She actually answered on both my MacBook and my phone. Both of them were like, "What's up? What's up? What do you need?" Which I appreciate. Thank you. But it's killed my flow there.
At least I'm not going to be
loved the show.
mourning the death of someone for a
God,
couple days.
thank God. I'm going to be mourning the death of the show. The ending of the show is all I'm mourning, and it'll always be there. I can always just watch it again, That's it's wonderful. I'm so happy. I wonder. I am curious when I will officially rewatch this, because that's something that I've actually never done. I've never rewatched The Bad Batch. I've watched certain episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I've like in anticipation of season 3, I watched the last couple episodes of season 2 just to kind of get a refresher.
Oh.
But I've never watched all of it front to back in a row as a rewatch. So,
and now we can.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Yeah.
Now we can get it in totality, and that's
the whole motherfucker. And we've got an episode for every single one of them. Yeah, man. I guess with that, we will go ahead and do these plugs before we get to our album of the week segment to cap it off. But yeah, if you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 100 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and early access content. And like I said, when the Acolyte starts coming around, there's a good chance that that's where we are going to be covering it. So that's where you can get it for $1.50 a month. Not that much, just a little bit. It's very helpful for me. It costs me money to put this podcast on, and I don't make any off of it unless it's over on Patreon. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram and TikTok at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. You can watch on YouTube now. Just look up Penny Bloom Podcast. I got the Batch on display today and Star Wars vinyl, and it's all good and well. I'm wearing the Hunter headband. Probably not the last time I wear it on the podcast, but the last time I'm wearing it for an episode about the Bad Batch. Yeah. Feel like I'm stalling for time now. Don't want it to end. But yeah, it's it sucks, man. I'm gonna miss this show so fucking much. Yeah. With that, let's get into music of the week. Do you have an album of the week ready for me?
I do. And it's all of these I don't know where I pulled the inspiration from. I do have a massive playlist of just albums that I've run through. But most of them, I feel like I have a pattern of I know one song already from the album that I really, really like, and then I want to expand, and then I want to see. And this one, it's from Nirvana, and it's Nevermind. I'd say they're probably their most iconic album. And just from Batman, hearing
something in the way,
yeah. And Smells Like Teen Spirit. I knew some songs coming in, but then. I don't know. I just it was nice to get the rest of it in totality.
As you are, as I want
that scratchiness,
to be.
Just that is it raspy? Is that the right word? I don't like.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain, man, he could fucking do the thing. Yeah, I love Nevermind. That's a great pick.
And crazy that the baby in the album cover tried to sue Nirvana for child pornography or whatever, but ends up this is the only thing that has made this guy famous, like it's like and he comes out after the fact and it's like just really weird. That was I was trying to look at anything kind of cool about this album, and that was the stuff to pop up is that the baby tried to sue Nirvana and lost. He did not get any money.
That's I mean, it is what it is. I enjoy Nevermind and I enjoy Nirvana a great deal. It's a great pull for this week. And for this week, I have to go with the album that I've just had on fucking repeat since last Saturday. I've been listening to nothing but the Challengers soundtrack by Reznor and Ross. I love Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I'm one of the people who didn't know. I know Reznor and Ross as composers for movies. I didn't know that they were members of the band Nine Inch Nails. No idea. Had no idea. So I'm probably going to dive into a little Nine Inch Nails. But I love Reznor and Ross, and the Challenger score has just been super prevalent for me in the last week because of the release of the phenomenal film. If you have not seen it, go see it. And the music has just got me bumping. It's got a little bit of everything. It's, it's exciting. It's great workout music. It's great chill out music. There's a lot of good stuff going on there, and I love it dearly. So my album of the week was the Challengers original soundtrack to kick off May with the first albums of the week for May.
Hell yeah.
But
one that was, I don't know, even I'm not a one to usually notice a score in a movie, but that was
it was prevalent. It was interestingly used, and I actually, because I was so excited to see it, I listened to the score for the first time before I saw the movie. And then I saw the movie and I was like, "Oh my god, the score's even better now." So like it's really fucking good on its own, and then in the context of the movie it gets even better. So Nirvana's Nevermind and Reznor and Ross's Challengers score. Those are the albums of the week, and with that, we will conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. And that's it for TV for about a month and some change. We are movies for the rest of the month. And earlier this week, we concluded our coverage of the John Wick quadrilogy, and we will be moving on to action movies galore and the Anya Taylor-Joy actor spotlight. Next week will bring us the likes of Akira, the 1988 Japanese anime film. Super, super excited for that. I don't need to qualify anime by saying it's Japanese. That's kind of implied. Sorry about that. Wednesday, we will be doing Emma, the 2020 film starring Anya Taylor-Joy. We will be joined by Claire DeGeneiro for that. We love Claire. She joined us for, The Mandalorian and Barbie and
Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight trilogy. So she's been very prevalent, and she'll be back for that Jane Austen adaptation next Wednesday. And then next Friday, we will be continuing action movies galore with Die Hard, classic American action flick. Super excited for that. Also 1988. We're a little all over the place, but I'm super excited for it. Action movies on Monday and Friday, Anya Taylor-Joy on Wednesdays. That's what we've got going for the next month, and that's all in anticipation of Furiosa, a Mad Max saga coming out at the end of the month, which we will be covering the last Wednesday of May. And yeah, man, everybody have a good May the 4th. Enjoy your movies. Enjoy the Phantom Menace in theaters. If you're going to that behemoth of a Star Wars Day marathon, good luck.
Bring some snacks. Safe. I don't know how that that's a long
bring a blanket,
time. Yeah,
a pillow.
Yeah.
Pick whichever movie you want to sleep through. I don't know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I love Star Wars.
I could not do that.
That's a lot. That is a whole lot. But we'll see the Phantom Menace. We'll get the first and the hype. So yeah, and Tales of the Empire. I'm ready. So I'm ready for Star Wars Day, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. So
I can't wait. I cannot wait. But yeah. With that, remember. Oh wait. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom, and always praise the Bad Batch.